Hi everyone, today I'm back with a new video. Since I'm starting to study Korean again when I have time, which is not that much the past few weeks, but I'm still trying. I wanted to share with you how I'm studying Korean, and I think it will maybe take 1 or 2 videos about that, but because I want to explain how I'm planning, but also the books that I may use, stuff like that, or maybe that I recommend. I don't know, I will see. So, just like everyone, I of course bought a lot of books. I think I'm kind of like almost a Korean book collectioner, but like I think I'm kind of like collecting all the Korean books or language books, whatever, because I really enjoy learning new languages. I think bought most of the book when I was in France, but also when I was in Korea, when I got the chance to find a new one that I kind of like, and I think will add new things to my knowledge or help me with some specific things. So of course I bought from beginners level to more advanced, like that I can kind of plan my studying and actually be able to study like more progress in a progressive way. And of course, I also have like the books from Yonsei and the KIIP program from the immigration. Books that I actually mentioned in previous videos. Since like a language is way more than just like vocabulary but also grammar, I also tend to try to find books that will help me with the writing, reading, and also listening. But actually, the listening skills are not really using any books, but I will talk about it in later. So most of the books that I'm using to study Korean are actually in English. There is books in French, but the content is a little more limited than English. English has way more books than for the French. I think there is like for French at least until when I was in France, I could find only like beginners level or really early intermediate ones, so it was not really that easy to be able to go further with like French books. So that's why I mainly the most of the book that I'm using are actually in English. So basically, since I love planning my life, I'm kind of giving myself like a goal, like a date, a deadline, if you want, to study Korean. Though it can be a really random date, or it could also be an exam, just like the topic. But actually, for me, this time it will be the KIIP exam that I actually decided to try to take beginning of 2023 instead of December, like I mentioned in a previous video. I decided to change because I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself, especially since I don't really have that much time at this point, and I kind of decided to move a little to give myself more time and not to overwork myself. So after I set up the deadline, I am actually planning on my calendar some slot where I can be studying Korean. Since everything is in there, I'm mainly using Google Calendar because like I know when I'm working, when I have appointments, or if I have like meetings, stuff like that. I can kind of have a overview on all I have to do, and then I can decide when I can study Korean. So I basically putting in my calendar like a slot like Korean, and yeah, that kind of helped me to remember, oh, I should study Korean today. So once I actually decided which time, what day, which days I want to study, I actually look into the contents of what I want to study, of course. So right now I'm actually dividing by level from the beginners to advanced level, and I'm trying to one day study really beginners grammar, and then intermediate, and then advanced one. The reason why I'm still studying the beginner grammar again, like it's kind of to refresh my memory, because these days I'm really not I can't really study Korean that much, and I'm not using Korean that much since I'm working from home and my colleagues are mainly English speakers. So I try to study again beginners level grammar because I don't want to make stupid mistakes. that I shouldn't do since I'm still living in Korea and I should have a way better Korean level. So concerning the grammar part, I know a lot of people love to make some notes and take one book and then study the notes. What I actually did, because I felt it was a little not easy, but like every time I open a new book, I could see the grammar part that I already saw, and I felt a little frustrated because of that. So basically what I did is I actually took, once I learned a new grammar part, I'm actually making my own documents. I think I did it on Word right now, and then I'm actually making my own notes, like kind of simple to explain when you should use this grammar part and some example to really understand it, because just notes is like, if you don't have any example, at some points it can be really confusing, and actually you don't know how to use this construction. So that's how I decided to make my own documents with, like, each time I have a new grammar part and just put in there, and that way when I want to study again those grammar parts, I go to on this documents and I'm just kind of studying from there. The other reason I'm doing this way is because I usually like to bring with me something to be able to study if I have an exam, and I felt like it was more easy to read and to kind of study again from this kind of documents instead of just my writing notes. So I think because you can't really bring books or whatever, you don't really want to bring your books when you're going to the exam, but yeah, that way I felt like it was not heavy but also more easy to read, and that way I have only everything in one place. So for example, since I say that I divided my studies from the beginner level to the advanced one, I actually have one different document per level, and that way I will always refer to it when I want to study again. So I have like a document for each level, which I actually also make notes on my own notes, just like, oh yeah, that way I will understand better this grammar part if I forget about it and I have to study it again. So next week I actually, because this video is really long, I don't want to make like longer videos than 6, 7 or 8 minutes. So that's why I'm dividing this video in two. I will just share how I'm studying the vocabulary, but also how I'm working on the listening, reading, and the speaking skills. So don't forget to check it out next week. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comment section below, and of course if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and see you next week with a new video. Bye!